Alone, the street needs us. Black nose, black lips, black features. You know what? I'm the young black Jesus. They tryna cop block the black leaders. Can't leave the streets alone, the street needs us.
Yeah, Case, you know what I read the other day? I read that they've legalized weed in Uruguay.
Okay.
What are your thoughts about that?
It's a good question, Jimmy. It's a real good question, because you know, Cakes, I always keep it real with you, innit? You get me? Like, I'll always keep it real with anyone. That's just like my setup, innit? Like, the whole weed thing, because what? Bunning weed for how many years, man? We was bunning weed before skunk came about. Obviously, I think there was a bit of skunk, but it was so hard to get. It was just weed, you get me? And then skunk came about, and you get me, Amsterdam blew up, and even till now you got rappers that their whole career based live on the YouTube and videos is based about glamorizing weed. And then hold that in your brain for 1 second and check the other side of it. Like, if you do your research and then you see that what all the qualities of the hemp plant, all the things that we ain't been told about the hemp plant, and how hemp had to get held back and blah blah blah. And then take, for example, like, stick that in your brain for a second, and then look at like the pharmaceutical industry and all these ailments people have where they can just bun one little zoot, and you ain't taking them tablets tonight, you ain't taking that Prozac, you ain't taking that blah blah blah. Think about what weed might do to all their money. You understand what I'm trying to say? So stick that in your brain for a second and come back to the point that I'm trying to say. It's like, there's beautiful qualities, there's many medicinal qualities, I can say, I believe for a fact. There's a lot of good things about weed that they don't want you to know. But then on the second hand, on which is like, I've started to develop this whole opinion about things when I've looked at like the whole way weed is portrayed. Because you see the weed most people can get right now. I never met Bob Marley, but I really don't think it's the shit Bob Marley was smoking. See, when Bob Marley and all them people were saying peace and love and blah blah blah, it weren't the peng-a-ling-ling-ling blue cheese, the lemon that the airman talking about. It weren't none of that. You get me? So you see, when you go Amsterdam, and most of the weed you can get is just skunk, basically. It's just some GM weed, if you want to call it that. Like, it's got me asking questions about how the use of weed is being portrayed, you get me? And most of us out here, we bun weed with cigarette and Rizla, you know? That's how we do the shit. And I can never glamorize that shit to you and tell you it's good, car. Cigarette will slow you down, man, kill you in different ways, you get me? And even putting smoke in you. My auntie said to me, real talk, I'm not gonna act like I'm Jesus Christ, I say that, I'm just a man, you get me? But one time I got given advice and she said to me, yo, if a house was burning down, no one tries to run into the house. But every time man's smoking, it's like we're running into the house and running back out, a whole chest full of lungs. But ask a smoker why we smoke, I don't know, it feels good in it, you get me? But I can't glamorize it in it. So like Uruguay, back to your point fam about Uruguay legalizing weed, boy, good for them in it. Like, cool. I really don't know what the government agenda is. For all I know, the riots might have been about to kick off right there, you get me? Yeah, and they said, nah, let's give these motherfuckers some weed, man, cause if we give them some weed, they're gonna be high. Cause weed is all peace and love. Like, I think the whole world should bun weed. But as an adult, I see like the youths consuming weed, how Wiz Khalifa and all these sort of people, Juicy J, and even artists like myself portray the thing. I can't really salute that, innit? Because yeah, it's not a I don't know. It's a good question. It's a funny one. You ain't got to bun weed, you know? That's the point I'm trying to say. If you see your friend, if they've legalized weed in Uruguay, good. If they legalize weed in London, cool. You know what I mean? It's gonna shut a lot of the man them down. You get me? Like, it's gonna shut a lot of people down still, but really and truly, that's it. Man, I think there's an agenda behind it, because they're not, I never see people I never see, like, there's a lot more emphasis on bunning it than, like, you know what I'm trying to say, use it for this other things, like less people talking about weed capes and all them sort of things. So yeah, man, it's a good thing, but then everything's got its drawbacks. So yeah, that's all I have to say.
Alone, the street needs us. Black nose, black lips, black features. You know what? I'm the young black